Hey, Natsu here. So, today I'm going to go with part 2 of what is the Dragon Slayers. We're in Fairy Tail. In the last part, I explained how the Dragon Slayers died and got reborn, how their entire bodies basically were forcing a human evolution on them to create cells that were both dragon antibodies as well as, wait a second, I think that's better, I'm not sure, I'm going to know later, but yeah, basically how their bodies basically forced an evolution to create both dragon antibodies as well as creating little cells that were specifically made to create pure magic. Meaning that they were laying out magic from their bodies, as well as when they were using their magic. So, over time, basically the world of My Hero Academia will gain magic. When they have kids, those cells will basically be created in their kids, and they will create magic, which will just start to be let out in the world over and over again. And basically over the generation, if the quirks don't kill every human, the magic will basically make them increase in strength, stamina, as well as give them natural abilities to use magic. Easier for the children of people who actually have cells that create magic, so that's one thing. But yeah, so after that I explained how while they were doing that, their bodies were basically sick-looking and everything. I explained how Natsu's basically Deku but with pink, well, not Deku is basically Natsu with green hair, and basically that's his rebirth. Luxus was reborn in Kaminari, and basically he looks the same except that he's buff as hell from physical training after age 10 when he finally had all of the cell made in his body to survive and to create magic. Then you have Gajiel, who is a twin brother to Kirishima, who he doesn't have a quirk, but just like the others has magic. Then you have Sting and Rogue that were born from another, well, as twins in a family that wasn't originally in the show. And since their parents seem to have a light bending quirk to make illusions, and the dad who can basically put a shadowy black substance around his body to hide himself, basically they just think that the kids have an evolution of those quirks since they are missing the bones but aren't actually with quirks compared to Luxus, who both has his magic and a quirk. And then you have Wendy, who is a false twin with Uraraka that looks exactly like she did in Fairy Tail. She has the same quirk as Uraraka on top of her magic. So after that I talk about Natsu obtaining One for All training, saying to All Might he might be able to be healed from someone he knows, and basically we start back at the entrance exam. So, the day of the entrance exam, everyone basically started going to school. Natsu alone, Wendy with her sister, Gabriel with his brother, Luxus alone, and Sting and Rogue just going together. Sting and Rogue were basically the first to arrive and went to their own places to do the test. Roxas arrived as well. Hiroshima with Gajiel. They went first. Then you have Natsu that basically was walking until he felt magic behind him and turned around to see Uraka and a girl he recognized, which was Wendy. Both of them said hi at the same time, with Uraka asking if they knew each other. Then they both looked at each other and just said each other's name, true name, Wendy and Natsu. Uraka just took it as a yes, they know each other, and basically asked when did they became friends, since she doesn't really remember Natsu, while always being close to his sister. They basically just said that they knew each other from a long time, but basically stopped being able to see each other after a while. So yeah. Then they start going together and go through the rhythm test, which Natsu, being dumb as he is, except when he decides to actually learn, doesn't have a perfect score, but he's still pretty good and well off. After that, you basically go to the assembly where, except for Ida basically screaming that there's an extra robot, nobody actually does anything. So we next pass to the cities, where I'm going to divide the people in a certain way. Natsu, Wendy, and Natsu, Wendy, and Rogue in City 1. Gajiel, Luxus, and Sting in City 2. Basically, Wendy was still with Uraka, since yes, they separated people, but they weren't able to do it for everyone, so still. Basically, she saw the other three, and all three of them basically went to talk with each other. Uraka basically went to try and talk to her sister about something, and Ida, without knowing that, it was her sister, basically went to stop her, saying that some people are nervous and they shouldn't be bothered, with Natsu basically going and saying, hey, she's basically pointing to Wendy and saying she's her sister. If she wants to come and talk to her, she's allowed to do that, you know? Basically telling Ida that, yeah, he's not that welcome, since he's just bugging them a bit. Then Wendy was basically asked by Uraka if she was going to be okay, since Uraka knows that her sister is stronger than her, but she wasn't sure. So then Natsu basically asked in fairy tale language, so what do you plan to do? Which then Rogue and Wendy basically responded once again, Magnolia, I mean, since they come from Magnolia, so yeah. Basically, they responded in the same language that they're basically just going to go destroy robots, and that's that. Which Ida basically just asked them, what language was that? I've never heard of that language. with them basically just saying that they learned it together. Ben just thought about it and said, well, created it. So we can speak to each other without others interfering or understanding. Uraka basically just thought they created an entire language. When did that happen? But then President Mike started talking, so everyone got ready. Wendy got ready to basically go, but decided to boost both herself, Natsu, Rogue, and Uraka. Basically, Uraka knew that a lot of people from where they are knew that, yeah, Wendy can heal, boost people, grant some people the ability to fly, basically, do a lot of stuff. It takes a while to learn to control it, but still, because basically she's just putting magic inside the body of someone and allows them to do that, so yeah. Basically, she granted herself and 3 others the just increased speed, which made all of them flash with their own colors. So, Rogue in a blackish light, Natsu in a reddish light, Wendy in a pinkish light, and Uraka actually had kind of the same pinkish color, but a bit more dull, or lacking, I should say, since the others basically create magic inside of their body, so it's feeding it, while her body doesn't produce it, so it's basically just magic around her. Some of the teachers basically saw that and were like, it's not even started, what's going on there? And basically just started working at, well, Wendy. Then, the moment President Mike screamed, go, Edie was already starting to run, but there was this tree light passing by, and one right next to him. Gosh, Rogue, Natsu, and Wendy basically boosted themselves forward. Natsu being the fastest by putting fire under his feet, Wendy second by basically pushing wind behind her, and then Rogue basically just running. And people just saw 3 light go forward, and then suddenly just hear Fire Dragon, Shadow Dragon, Wind Dragon, roar! And a massive amount of power just, well, a massive shockwave, to be more precise, just being launched. They didn't mix their flames, they basically just sent it in kind of the same direction. Well, not flames, but roar, and basically each of them destroyed about 20 robots just by destroying the entire street. With even the teachers saying, what just happened? Then Natsu told the others that they should separate, not destroy every robot, not let some for others. And then they basically started to go, with Natsu using One for All full calling to basically run further in the city. Rogue basically turned into a shadow and started to just absorb some of the robot, destroying them, pushing them out of his shadow, and just kind of doing that by going to one side, and Wendy going to the other side, using Sky Dragon Wing Attack, Sky Dragon Talons, Sky Dragon Roars, and basically just destroying a lot of them, with all of the robots that are left just kind of being taken by those that can. Since Uraka had her strength and speed boosted, she was already better off compared to her original counterpart. So that's that. That's already one thing. So basically that just kept going for until a while where Natsu, Rogue, Rogue and Wendy basically just thought, yeah, we have enough points, and went back. Each of them basically having like 200 to 300 points already by going super far inside of the city instead of just staying in the front of it. Which every teacher were basically just amazed by those 3 kids. Basically, Natsu, that they see, shouldn't have a quirk but has one, which she calls Fire Dragon Slayer. Wendy, who has anti-gravity, as well as Sky Dragon Slayer. Basically, they named them their quirk themselves, so they basically just think, yeah, they said that as a kid and now it kind of sticks. Rogue Shadow Dragon Slayer. Now, let's go to the City 2, where Gabriel, Laxus, and Sting. Basically, they just saw each other and in Magnolia, Magnolia language, basically just said, "Sup? How you been? Seems like you've trained well," and basically just got ready afterward. Before hearing Prison Mike starts counting and saying go, with Luxus basically turning into a lightning body and just zooming past everyone. Then Gajiel and Sting basically running behind and starting to destroy other robots. Kirishima being not far behind Gajiel, basically just seeing his brother destroying a lot of robots faster than him. A Kirishima that can already fully put his body into hardening, since he is a lot stronger. So yeah, basically for them it was kind of the same thing. Destroy a lot of robots, go further in the city than anyone else, destroy a huge amount of robot, then coming back. So basically for them it was kind of the same thing, with the teachers thinking the same thing about them. Basically they looked at all of them and just saw one common thing: Dragon Slayer in all of their quirk names. Gabriel, who seems to be missing the bone. So, okay, yeah, that's his quirk. Luxus having a bone and just having his quirk with Lightning Dragon Slayer, even though he actually does have a quirk on top of that, but nobody knows because, yeah. Then you have Sting, who is White Dragon Slayer, which they just think he thought that it sounded cooler and basically got that as a name. But basically it's more of holy magic than light magic. That's how I see it. But he says white, so white. Basically they just say that all of them have elements Dragon Slayer, which they were intrigued by that, so yeah. Then they saw that all of them basically from age 4 to 10 were always pretty freaking sick, and basically just thought, okay, they all met somewhere like a hospital or something, and over time they just decided to all call themselves, well, their quirk, Dragon Slayer, because of how it worked, and they just thought it sounded cool and or some shit like that. Later, when they're going to see one of them turn into a little half dragon, they're going to see that, okay, yeah, no, the name does stick out, and match the thing, since all of them will have scales at some points. From Dragon Slayer transformation, then reverting back. So yeah, it's like, damn, they were right on the money. But yeah, so when they unleash the Zero Pointers, the first big change is actually that Uraraka isn't stuck under rubbles. The reason why is that the three Dragon Slayers saw the Zero Pointer from afar and basically combined, well, all 6 of them did the same thing, but in 2 groups. Loxus, Gashiel, and Sting doing a Steel White Lightning Dragon Roar, while on the other side you had Fire Sky Shadow Dragon Roar, basically fusing 3 elements in one, instead of just having them side by side, and basically ripping the... well, no, literally annihilating the entire robot. With the teachers just thinking, who the hell are those kids? How the hell can they work so well together, and how the hell do they have so much power? After that, basically Wendy, on her side, basically after the thing was over, basically just went healing everyone before Recovery Girl could even arrive, which while she was coming, she basically just saw a girl standing close to Natsu, basically healing people. So when she got close, some people basically recognized her as the nurse of the school, saying that they were okay, but she just kind of passed right next to them and went to Natsu and said, so she's the girl who can heal people. And basically a few people just looked at Deku just like, you know her? Then Wendy asked in Mongolia language, what is she talking about? Which he then responded in the same language, the number 1 hero has a problem that you might be able to help. Basically someone just said, the same language as before, what the hell is that? Basically that was someone who just heard it from afar but was like, why the hell can't I understand it? Basically, let's just say, oh yeah, it's a guy whose quirk basically allows him to understand anything that can make sounds. Like, you have the guy that can understand animals, this guy can understand any language, and even then he can't understand that language. Which means, yeah, that's pretty much rough for him. Like, he was physically trained, but his work is so-so. Because of that, basically, this guy doesn't even enter, but yeah, so basically just a little Easter egg. So then, before they're able to go anywhere else, they hear on the intercom Izuku Midoriya. Oh shit, I forgot the names of the others. Give me a minute. Okay, so they basically call Izuku, Lois, Arthur, Gale, Kaminari. Oops, sorry, just be right back for the music. Okay, yeah, so last one is Reina, which is Wendy. So basically they call all of these 6 and says that they want to see them in the principal's office. Wendy basically looks at her sister and basically just has a weird scene, a weird look on her face. Wendy says it's going to be okay and basically just says to wait for her before leaving. When they start leaving, same thing for Gagio telling that to Hiroshima, saying that, yeah, he's going to be back. So, they basically all just go there, and basically meet Nezu, as well as one other hero, who is Eraserhead. Eraserhead is not there to basically take on their quirk. It's basically just to say, yeah, you're going to be in class 1A and that's going to be your teacher. But it's basically that Nezu and also Aizawa want to ask a question to all of them. They basically talk a bit, present themselves, and then Nezu asks the question, why do you all have the same type of quirk name? Since you created them yourselves. They basically, while they were actually coming, they had decided on a little story. Basically, Lux is saying that they might want to ask about that, so they basically made up the story that, oh yeah, well, while they were young, they were sick a lot. So basically, while being there, they explained their quirk to each other, and also that it was kind of the same, and all decided to name it Dragon Slayer and then their elements. Which Nezu basically just said, well, we thought it was something like that. Well, all of you actually gained a lot of points. Then looking at Wendy in particular, saying that she got the most points of everyone and actually beat the record of the entire school, even from All Might, which surprised everyone. So basically, they explained that you could get points from both defeating robots and helping people. And since when basically, like, they came back like 1 or 2 minutes before the Zero Pointer arrived, and all of them basically kind of help people, like, not really helping them in the sense that, oh, you're in trouble, I'm coming to help, but more like, oh, a robot is about to attack students, or one of the kids, without actually them being able to defend against it. I'm going to break the robot before they get hurt. That was basically the help, which was still giving them points, at the same time as giving them robot points. But Wendy, who was literally just going around healing everybody, yeah, she got a huge amount of points from that. So they basically told them that they were going to start on the first day, and that they were all going to be in class 1A. So after, or they started leaving, and Deku told Wendy that if she has time, she wants to present her to the #1 hero, All Might. The others, who basically grew up in the same general environment, saw that All Might was the #1 hero and way stronger than them, so they basically all kind of got the same, oh yeah, I want to meet him. So Natsu basically called All Might and asked if there was a place where they could meet. He talked about, well, all 5 of the others, as well as Wendy, who could, well, in particular, Wendy, who could heal. All Might accepted to meet them, but on the condition that they're able to keep a secret. And Natsu almost started laughing because they're kind of keeping a secret since, well, they're 4. So, yeah, he said they could. When they were going outside, Uraraka was waiting for Wendy, and basically Natsu just kind of realized that, oh yeah, your sister. Huh. Then Wendy basically asked Natsu if she could come, since, well, they were close, so basically called All Might again, and basically talked about that. He didn't except for Uraraka though. So basically they went to talk with Uraraka, saying that they had something they had to do, and that she was sorry, and that she was going to come back home later. Uraraka was a bit bummed out, but she basically just saw it as, yeah, she just found back friends she lost a while ago, so they might have a lot of talking to do. So she basically accepted it, just sulking a bit. While the Dragon Slayer went to go to the beach, where All Might and Deku trained. Well, where All Might trained Deku. So, while getting there, what All Might saw was just kind of like 5 other kids with Natsu, and basically asked for their names, which they didn't give their real names. They gave their real names, not their new names. Which then he asked basically if it was the same as for Natsu, and they basically just realized that, oh, right. And then they gave their real names on top of that, but said that they prefer the nicknames. All Might then called all of them young, Wendy, Gajeel, Sting, Rogue, Roxas, Natsu, and asked about if she could be able to heal, which she said she was going to try, since Wendy, when she healed, she can see basically the injury, or what's the problem. Like, she knows where it is. It doesn't mean she can do something about it, but she can still see what the injury is. So she started basically trying to heal All Might, and All Might coughed blood. The others were basically scared, but Wendy's did basically, after asking him if he was okay, him trying to say, yeah, but I don't think it worked, and then Wendy said, actually it did work. It's just that it's going to take a while. I'm going to have to do this a lot of times before it's actually fully healed. The injury is too big to do it in one go. It would probably kill you. Because of how much, well, pain he would feel from the organ basically fucking regrowing, and then the entire scar basically healing. So she basically told him to take it easy, and that anytime she can and that he can, she's ready to try and heal him, to basically bring the result faster. Without knowing, she's also giving a bit of magic into One for All, making the flame be able to last longer. That's going to come in later, and I'm just saying it right now. Yes, it will last longer. A lot longer. Just because magic basically has been started to be used basically as extra wood for the fire. So he's going to lose it. That I'm saying it outright. He's going to lose it, but it's going to last basically longer. Like, not like a few months or something. It's going to be like a week or so more. Well, a few weeks, something along those lines. So yeah. Basically, after that, All Might asked if they know about everything, and then he just said that, well, he only talked about the injury. Like, All Might's in buff form right now. So he thought that the only secret they know is, oh yeah, he's injured. And so All Might says that it's good, and that they can go now. But he wants to talk with Natsu in private. So the others go, and basically all of them have one thing in particular that all of them basically keep, just because it's really annoying in a big city with a lot of sounds. They're basically just like, what's the freaking word? Give me a minute. I'll be right back. Okay, yeah. So all of them basically have earphones that are always on and basically sends a white noise, just to kind of counter the huge amount of noise that they can hear from the city. So basically, they can hear what's being told, but they just kind of don't listen and just kind of go back home. What All Might wanted to say to Natsu was that he's really happy that he has a friend that could do that, but he really wants to know where he knew her from. And basically just tried to say the same thing as for Nezu, and All Might said that he looked in, well, all of their files while the school was doing, while they were doing the entrance exam, and all of them were sick when they were younger, but most of the special ability, in particular her healing, came afterward, which means that they would have no way of knowing about it. Which Natsu said that was a secret, and that he could never say it unless she says it, unless all of them are ready to say it to the public, or to one person. Which All Might understood as, this is a secret that is between us six, and unless all of us are ready to say it, none of us will say it. So he basically kind of let go of it for now, since, yeah, he can't really push that when it's that far. So after that he told Natsu he could go, and I'm going to end it here. In the next part, I'm going to do the test with Aizawa, and depending on how long it takes, maybe All Might's test hero versus villain. Which, yes, don't worry, I'm going to put each Dragon Slayer in different teams, so don't worry. So yeah, hope you liked it. Leave a like if you did. If you have any comments, questions, or whatever, leave it in the comment section. I'm going to have it there. I'm going to put... I just realized I haven't put my links to my Discords for 2 or 3 videos, but I'm going to put my link for the videos for Discord in the description, so come and join us if you want to. Natsu out!